Hey everybody, it's Coach Rail Andrews here, and welcome to Modern Day Champions. I have two amazing champions, Brandon and Jessica Hayes. You're going to meet them in a second, but we're going to count it down. Ready? We're going to go 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Boom! Like to get that energy up. So listen, we are really blessed. You know, what I've been doing is reaching out to people that I respect and admire because, you know, successful people, they leave clues, they leave trails. I've always said that. And so we're really blessed to have Brandon and Jessica Hayes. They are champions. They're tearing it up. Brandon, Jessica, why don't you tell us your story, where you came from and how you got to where you got?
Yeah, so I'll start. And first of all, we appreciate you, Rael, having us on the Zoom here, and we're just honored and humbled to even be asked to share our story and maybe a couple of quick insights. But I got involved in network marketing when I was 18 years old, and I got involved with a very large company that was super successful all over the world, and it's really a legacy company. And I fell in love with network marketing. I fell in love with the opportunity to be free. And, you know, it was just like, it's like a virus. It just got in my blood. And that experience didn't turn out super positive in terms of, you know, financially speaking. But what it did is it sort of unplugged me from the proverbial matrix, so to speak. And I began searching for a company that really aligned with, you know, the goals that I had for our life, you know, for my future family and so forth. So it took me a couple of years, but I found that company and dove in head first once I did. At the time, I was a restaurant manager, so that was my primary job. I had two other jobs during the day. I was a full-time college student at the time, and a complete stranger shared the company that I'm with currently. He shared it with me. I didn't know the guy. You know, he met me in the restaurant, and it's kind of a cool story. But he shared this with me, and now he and I are best friends. We travel the world together, and he was actually at my wedding. We just got married a little over a year ago, back in October of last year, and so he was a groomsman in my wedding. So anyway, we dove in head first, and in about 6 months, I was starting to create some really consistent income to the point where some of my checks started to have commas in them. So I joined the comma club, and so that, you know, at that point, it just started to my little part-time thing. You know, it started to surpass my full-time income. And got more consistent, and that just gave me some hope. I saw, you know, a light at the end of the tunnel, so to speak, and began to realize that freedom was becoming my reality. And fast forward to about 18 months in, and we got it to a level of income that was, you know, comfortable probably for most people to feel, you know, like they can walk away from their job. And that's what I did at age 24, 18 months into the business. I walked away from my job, and I haven't had a job ever since. So I'm 30 years old now. Of course, this is my beautiful wife, Jessica. We build this thing together. We call ourselves the Freedom Couple because that's what we're all about. We're all about freedom and helping others achieve, you know, that level of freedom in their life, whatever it means for them. So I'll let Jess kind of share her, you know, snapshot of her story too.
So it's actually interesting that, you know, we're married, we build our business together, but when I first got started, you know, we weren't building this together. We met through the current company that we're with. And while Brandon was like your favorite type of prospect that you want to meet every single day looking for a company, I was the complete opposite. I'm like the prospect you don't want to prospect. You know, so I had a family member approach me about it. And, you know, I was in the position where I just graduated college, had my degree. You know, I had a plan set, and it was all about the jobs, and that's what I was going to do. And I found myself in retail management, which had nothing to do with the healthcare degree that I had. And I was working 60 plus hours a week and, you know, just banging my head really on the wall, just trying to get by financially. If you watch our story, you know, in one of our videos, you'll hear me say that, you know, I was making $20 a month payments on a couch that only cost me $300, but I needed a couch. And so I was just making it happen. And, you know, my eyes were open a week of Christmas that I clocked 100 hours at that job. And at only 22 years old, I thought to myself, if this is how life is going to be, I've got to make some changes. And so I went back to that family member. I said, I don't know what you're doing. He had a lot of success, and, you know, he went from not knowing, you know, the profession at all to, you know, absolutely rocking it out, making six figures. And so I just said, whatever you're doing, you're going to teach me, and we're going to go rule the world. And, you know, I was that personality that I was going to figure it out and make it happen. And so I told my boss that he was fired, and I went on that journey, and we made it happen. I think the first check I made, was enough that it made my belief level raise tremendously from being, the skeptic to, no, that's a pyramid scheme, to, now I'm like, oh, the money's real. Like, it's not monopoly money. It's real money. And when I saw that, I was like, game changer. And then we met through the business and started building it together. And I like to always just preface, I had a full-time income before we got together in this, so I'm the real deal too, right?
That's right.
But
Well,
but I love the profession that we're in. I love the lives that we get to impact. And just, they asked me in the beginning, they said, what are you building this for? What do you really want out of it? And I gave them two things. So I want to live on the beach, and I want to travel the world. And, since 2010, we moved to the beach in 2014. 2010 is when we got started. 2014, we moved to the beach. And since 2014, we've done some serious world travel. And it's just been phenomenal.
wow, that's awesome. And it's amazing, Brandon, because do you know who Jeffrey Combs is? I don't know if you know who he is.
Yeah, yeah, we know Jeffrey. Yeah.
Yeah, he talks about, he actually looked forward to finding champions in restaurants. He was always, recruiting servers and stuff like that. So it's interesting that you found in a restaurant. And what I love, I'm excited having Jessica as a bonus, because we were both at the, the GoPro network marketing event. And for me, it was a huge aha moment, because I was on this journey where I was, part of my vision board was, I'm looking for kingdom men. I'm looking for strong men, because I had realized what a possibility of providing for your family and being a stay-at-home dad. But I've had a major aha and a major shift since then, when they put up the statistics that 75% of our industry is being rocked by powerful women. So, so when you get the two of you to working together like that, that's champion right there. So I'm very, very happy for you. What would you say your 3 keys to your success would be?
Well, I can give you mine, and Jess can kind of piggyback off of what I say, or maybe give you some of her own if she likes. But for me, and I said this at the GoPro event, from stage, I gave you a couple of them. One is, I just made a commitment from the very beginning to, and we've made this commitment together, obviously, but since we've been building together, but we just made a couple of key commitments. One is to never let anyone outwork us. We consider ourselves the hardest workers in our company. We don't, it's not just lip service for us. We're not just going to tell our team to do something and then we're not willing to do it. Just recently she mentioned travel, and part of that was for our anniversary. We spent a little less than a week in Bali at a beautiful resort for our first anniversary. But the rest of that almost month-long trip was us doing events in Southeast Asia. So we did events in Australia, we did events in Thailand, we did events in the Philippines. We were traveling all over. Then as soon as I got back from that trip, I went on 9 cities in, I think, 14 days. So I did 9 cities in 14 days here in the U.S. in the Midwest. And so, as soon as I got on the back end of that trip, that's when I got the call from Eric Worre to say, hey, do you want to come speak on, at GoPro? And of course, when Eric Worre calls you, you answer, you respond. Yeah. So, we're willing to work hard. We just made a commitment, number one, to never let anyone outwork us. If we're going to compete with other people, we're going to compete in the area of, we're going to work harder than you. Right. So the second commitment that I think is a big deal, it's not enough to just work hard. It's not enough, because there's lots of hardworking people that don't make it, right? That don't become top tier network marketers, or, top of the field, top of the line in whatever their field is. So another commitment, I think, that is a key ingredient to the success recipe in network marketing, that you just simply have to make this commitment, is that you're not going to let anyone outlast you. Okay. So we've made that commitment. We said, you know what? We're not going to quit. We're going to get consistent with activity. We're going to continually make the commitment over and over again. This is not a one-time thing. It's a thing that has to be done over and over, sometimes on a daily or weekly basis, where we got to give ourselves a checkup from the neck up, as Zig Ziglar would say. And we have to get rid of our stinking thinking. And we have to recommit to ourselves, to our business, to our team. I tell people all the time, I quit on a regular basis. I quit my business sometimes, some weeks, maybe every day of the week, but I just quit for 5 minutes. And then I say, you know what? I made a commitment. To not let anyone outlast me. So we made that commitment. And then the third one, and this is important too, and it goes back to me saying there's lots of people that are committed to not quit. There's lots of people that are committed to work hard. But here's the challenge is we don't focus on growing ourselves enough. So the third commitment is a commitment to personal growth, personal development, personal change. Mm-hmm. Because success, as Jim Rome would say, success is not something that you pursue. Success is something that you attract by the person that you become. Our goal is not to minimize our challenges or minimize our struggles. It's not to minimize our obstacles. Our goal is to grow ourselves so that we're so big that we can overcome any of the obstacles and challenges that come our way. You don't need less obstacles or challenge. You just need more wisdom, more skill. And so we're focused on those three things. Not, being the hardest worker, no one's going to not quit us. No one can not quit us. We can be the best at not quitting. And then the third is personal development, a commitment to personal change and growth.
What was number two?
Number two was don't let anybody outlast you.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, commitment to not let anybody outwork you, not let anybody outlast you, and not let anybody outgrow you.
Yeah, and outgrow you is huge. Personal development for me, the girl I was when I got started to the girl I am today is like two different women. It just completely, like, that mindset changed, going from just everything was negative to now it's like you can't say anything negative to me because I'm going to make you say it positive. And it's just a whole new mindset. And having the personal development helps you along the way to achieve that number one and number two of being the hardest worker and being able to last the longest, because you don't get on emotional roller coasters, and emotional roller coasters are what will completely throw you off course.
That's awesome. And, I know this firsthand because I remember several years ago, our business had hit a plateau. We took off like a crazy, and then it hit a plateau, and we were having one of those, how do you say, stern conversations you have in your house.
Right.
and my wife at the time had said to me, until you fix what's inside of our own four walls, our business isn't going to go to the next level. And I remember looking and go, what are you talking about? That's crazy. That's got nothing to do with our business. But it couldn't be more true to that fact. Mm-hmm. Now, you mentioned something, Brandon, that I'm noticing in these interviews, and I'm always curious, Brandon, Jessica, what is your morning routine? I'm finding that these champions I'm talking to have a very specific morning routine. Would you mind sharing with us what your morning routine looks like before when you first get up, before you turn yourself over to the world, per se?
Yeah, I think it's important. We have a saying that we teach people, and this was just something taught to us by our mentors, and it's start strong, finish strong. And, you can't control the bookends, like what's in between, but you can control the start and the finish, right? In the middle, there's all kinds of pop quizzes. Life throws us curveballs. Life throws us pop quizzes that we may not expect. The boss at work, the employees, the kiddos, the grandkids, whatever it might be, that are going to create these pop quizzes in the middle. But we can control the beginning and the end. So it's important, I think, to take control, because you run the day or the day runs you, right? And that starts in our mind, with our mindset. It's important for us to put positive stuff in the morning, positive stuff in as we go to sleep at night. So start strong, finish strong is a great routine. It's a way to take control. And we do have a specific thing. And I don't know, it could be different for everybody. The thing is that successful people are not successful by accident. They're successful people are just products of successful habits. That's it. And likewise, on the contrary, people that fail continually they're just products of their unsuccessful or non-success habits. And so we do our best to create those habits. So for some people, it might be, they wake up in the morning, they start with a little prayer or meditation, whatever they do. They get some good nutrition in their body. They get some water in their body. They maybe have a breathing exercise. It's important to breathe. They might do some of these things physiologically to get themselves prepared. And then maybe they invest some time with some personal development, whether it's reading or listening to something or watching something positive to start their day the right way, to get their energy level where it needs to be to go attack the day. And then maybe they do a little bit of exercise, whether it's just a couple of push-ups or some sit-ups or whatever that they might do. But we have a specific routine as it pertains to us in our business, which really got jacked up a little bit over the last few weeks because of all the travel schedule. But our routine, I'll just kind of let Jess walk through we have a meeting in the morning time. And so we have a daily morning meeting that we discuss and stuff. So I'll let her kind of walk through that a little bit.
So we try to stick to the same time every morning. And I think that's important to get really that routine down, to know what time you're going to be up. So you really know how much time during the day that you have. So we have a time set in the morning where we get up, we go through a morning meeting, and in that morning meeting we're going to cover all areas of our life. Finances, where we're going to cover our business, maybe whatever investments or whatever else we have happening. We're going to cover spirituality, family, friends, and what else do we do? Fitness, and fun, and philanthropy. Yes. And so some of the things that I make sure that I do personally when I wake up is I get my reading in, and I have 2 books that I read. And one book is always something for skill. The other one is something in an area, skill to business, that is helping you in your business. And the other is an area in your life that you want to grow. So for most people, especially women, you're looking at, their spirituality or relationships. And so those are 2 books I always read. A tip is this bad boy right here. Does not get picked up, and Facebook does not get opened. Don't even open the text. Don't open your email, because it will throw your entire morning off. And so it's best to just, you can carry it with you if you have to, but try not to look at it until you get your reading done. In my opinion, reading's number 1. It has to be done first thing, because otherwise it's so easy to just say, oh, I'll do it tonight. Or I'll do it in an hour when I've got some time, and then the hour rolls around and somebody else has already texted you, or that night rolls around and you ended up scheduling out your entire night doing connection calls for your team. So getting the reading done, and then after you get all the reading done, you can go to answering your team and family and whatever needs to happen there. But making sure you have the same set time every morning. We get into this business usually to smash our alarm clock, but successful people get up and, we make the habit of it. And really, if you're really passionate about what you're going for, you don't even need the alarm clock. You're going to wake up early anyways. And if you find yourself sleeping in, you need to find your passion, because you haven't found it yet. It's going to wake you up every morning if you've really truly got that deep down, just burning desire to go after something. But get your reading in, stay on top of your finances, stay on top of, building those relationships with family and friends. And those are the main things that we stick to. And then don't let your phone dictate your day. You dictate your day.
I think one of the things too that we forgot to mention is positive affirmations. So that's how we start. That's how we start our meeting. We start our meeting with some high energy, with some
chanting almost.
Yeah, with words that we want to almost sort of prophesy, words that we're speaking into existence, because words are powerful, right? Thoughts, words, they're so powerful. Thoughts become words become actions become habits become character becomes your destiny, and then of course your destiny becomes your legacy, what you're remembered for. But it all starts with thoughts and words. We either are turning over our mental keyboard, right, to the world, or we're taking control of our mental keyboard and who we allow to type on it. And so we start that morning meeting with positive affirmations that we've created for ourselves.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Brandon, what I do, I have in my bathroom, I don't know if you've ever done this, but I took a dry erase marker, and because that's the mirror we see last and first, and I am a champion, I am a good husband, I am a strong, because then, and one of the things I hope that people are getting from these interviews when they're watching them is they're going to see common denominators through all these champions. I mean, I've been talking to some champions that are just destroying the world, and, I know you get it, I get it, but I tell people it's not complicated, guys. It's just, the trails are right there. Just look at somebody you admire, follow them, and follow their trails. Well, I want to respect your time, but I have one question, and then we'll bring it home. So, in your journey already, because I'm sure you got many, but share with us one story that because of you being bold and reaching out to somebody, that you took that person who was walking down the road that their life was going to look a certain way, and now they went from ordinary to living an extraordinary life. I mean, is there one? I know you got many, but share with us one of your great victory stories.
Yeah, one that comes to mind, and you know, I love the story, is a young couple out in Colorado that you know, now they're top producers in our business now. But when they got started, they were in a position where they were both the husband was, and they still have two beautiful little girls too. So they were, you know, parents. They were active duty military, or the husband was prior service, but the wife was actually, you know, she was currently serving in our armed forces, in our Army, and she was active duty military. And they were looking for a way. They were searching for something, and they were brainstorming. They were hustling. They were trying to figure some things out. They were literally going to send, you know, she was going to go overseas, because when you're overseas in the military, you know, you end up making a higher paycheck. You make more money. And so she was literally going to, you know, sacrifice that time with her children, with her husband, with her family, to go overseas voluntarily, you know, volunteer to do that, so that they could make more money, so that they could start a little nest egg and start saving up. And they had plans of, you know, purchasing a, you know, like a franchise, like a sandwich shop or something like that, because they were looking for a way to achieve that financial freedom. And I caught her. She was a childhood friend of mine, and she had we had went to 5th grade together. We were 10 years old the last time we had seen each other, and we just reconnected because of things that were unrelated to business. It was actually related to one of her college courses that she was taking, and we just started a conversation. And of course, that led to me piquing her curiosity, passing her to a tool, and then plugging her into someone else that could relate with her and share a couple of stories and successes. And she ended up getting started, her and her husband, and they just took off running. And so basically, my favorite part about this is we caught them right before she was about to walk into the office and basically volunteer to go overseas. And so she saw a better way, and she saw a different opportunity. So her and her husband, they just dove in head first, started building a big business, and now they've literally got a international global business all over the world. And it's just one of my favorite stories. Like you said, We've got many, but for time's sake, we'll just share that one for now.
Awesome, guys. Listen, and one thing I did forget, just one biggest mistake people make. What do you see? I know there's so many, but I want to respect your time. You might want to. You got one you want?
Yeah, okay. I think our biggest mistake we ever made was we hit a rank in the company that, you know, when we got started, we knew that was the rank we were aiming for. And when we finally hit that rank, 12 months off, we just stopped building the business. And because we had that feeling of, well, almost 12 months, but we had that feeling of we made it, we did what we said we were going to do, and we forgot to reset our goals and get back to work. And because of that, it really put us, you know, years behind where we should be. Mm-hmm. And, you know, we're still digging ourselves out of that some days. And so, but that's probably, I would say, that's our biggest mistake we ever made, was thinking we made it and actually celebrating. And the celebration was okay, but it should have been for like 10 seconds. And then we should have, you know, put reality back into perspective and said, but this is not really where we want to be. There's more to the life that we want to live. And, you know, there's more that we want to give. And so we should have just, you know, reevaluated our goals much faster than waiting an entire year to look at each other and say, this isn't it. We got to keep going. And so, yeah, biggest mistake was taking that big, long break when we didn't need it. We just decided to.
Yeah, no, I'll buy into that. I agree with that, Rael. I think a lot of people do that, and we try to get ourselves into management mode, and when in reality, you know, and that's why we had to reevaluate those commitments that I told you about a second ago. We had to just decide, and I like the word decide. Decide. Everything is just, you're literally one decision. Everyone watching this is one decision away from making an all-out assault, an all-out pursuit of greatness. That's it. One decision. The word decide, if you break it down, D comes from the Latin. It means doubt. And side, of course, means to kill things. So decide means to kill doubt. The only thing stopping us, holding us back, is doubt and fear, right? The contrary of those are faith, right? And so action and faith. Those are the contrary of doubt and fear. So those kill doubt and fear. And that's what we got to do. We have to take action. There's no way around it. The learning is in the doing. You're not going to know everything. You're going to be bad before you're good, good before you're great, all of those things. But at the end of the day, we just have to kill the doubt, kill the fear, and we do that by faith and action. We ask ourselves a question often, and I think everyone that wants to be a leader in network marketing should. The question is this: if my team did what I did today, how big would my check be? And that's a sobering question sometimes, because when we were taking that little break that she's talking about, we weren't doing much. We were traveling, having fun and hanging out. But you know what? We had to look ourselves in the mirror, and we had to say, listen, we need to take this thing 18 inches from our head and get it into our heart and realize that we have a bigger cause, a bigger mission, and we need to go out and change some lives and help some people be free. And that's what it took for us to really get out of management mode and get back into building and setting the proper example for our team. Another word I like is inspire. People often ask me, they say, Brandon, how do I motivate my people? And I respond by saying, you can't. You don't motivate your people. The very nature of the word motive, you can tell that I like words, right? The very nature of the word motive, in a courtroom setting, motive means the reason why I did something. So motive is a reason why inside of an individual. So I can't motivate someone. I can't give them their reason why. They have to determine what motivates them, what'll get them out of bed early in the morning, what'll keep them up late at night. And so I can't motivate. What I can do, however, is inspire. I can inspire people to be better. I can inspire people to do more. I can inspire people to achieve. I can inspire people to grow. And the way that I do that is by example. The only way to inspire people is by leading from the front, being the example. The word inspire, if you break down the word inspire means to breathe, quite literally to breathe a breath of life into someone. That's quite literally what spire means. So to inspire, it means I'm breathing into someone, breathing life into someone. And the way that you do that is by your influence, and influence is example. They're synonymous with each other. So I agree with what Jess said. It's just a matter of, it's a decision. Everybody's one decision away.
Wow, that is, whoo, man, that is powerful. And you do like those words, and I love those words. But, it reminds me of an example. Do you ever listen to E.T., Eric Thomas? Yeah, love him. You know his how he uses Emmitt Smith, won the Super Bowl, and he rested one rep. That was his rest. So that's what makes me think of that. So listen, champions, I really, really appreciate your time. And, you tore it up on the stage, Brandon. You're like an ET to me. So I know that I would encourage people. How can people find you and follow you? Do you have a podcast? You have things that they can follow you on? Because both of you are champions, and I believe in surrounding myself with people that are better than me so that they can raise me up. And that's why I reached out to you, and I appreciate you giving us this interview. So how can other people find you?
Well, first of all, likewise, I appreciate the kind words, and that's humbling, and I appreciate you saying that. And we feel the same way, Rael, is we're looking to surround ourselves with the right people, the right community, and that's why we were at GoPro. And you think I did a good job? Wait till you see Jessica at the most powerful women of network marketing event.
I can't imagine. I might have to sneak in to see her.
That's right. So she's the speaker, man. She's the real network marketer here. She's the stud when it comes to this stuff. But there's I've got some good stuff out there. Everything I do is free. Just to try and provide value to the network marketing community. I have a series.
The easiest place to find everything real quick is freedomcouple.life.
Yeah.
Just before you get into that, freedomcouple.life, you'll be able to access all of our social media from there and see a little bit of our story and video. But go ahead.
Yeah, so that'll lead you to our social media and all that kind of stuff, and a little intro video that we had shot in Salt Lake City. But the only thing other than on top of that I was going to mention that's a lot of people in different companies across the industry or the profession have found value in is a little series, a YouTube series that I put together a year or two ago called Diamond Cuts. So if I've got, it's basically, everybody wants to be a diamond. Nobody wants to get cut, right? So Diamond Cuts, it's these little short clips, these little 2 to 3 minute clips that basically just give a quick tip on network marketing. And so if you go to YouTube and you can search Brandon Hayes, it'll be just one of the playlists on there is called Diamond Cuts. And there's 50 plus on there. I'm not exactly sure how many there are, But oh yeah, so if you go to, she was just pulling that up. If you go to freedomcouple.life, you can scroll down and go to, there's actually a YouTube
it's
link.
The hub.
Yeah, that's the hub.
I didn't want you going through every single one of them.
Yeah. So anyway, that Diamond Cut series, a lot of people use that, you know, as part of their start strong and finish strong. So in the morning, maybe they watch one of those little 2 to 3 minute clips. At night, maybe they watch another, 2 to 3 minute clip, and they're mostly skills based. Some of them are mindset based, but like Jess said, she likes to put something skill based in her head, every single day.
Yep.
Awesome. All right. Yay. Thank you guys so much. I'm going to go check that out and subscribe to that right away. So if you guys want, I'm going to count out 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We'll just do a big boom together. So here we go.
Good.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Boom. All right, guys. Thank you. God bless.
Yeah, thank you.
God bless you too. We appreciate you. Thanks, Rael.